morning, brothers and sisters. So before I start off, I should probably apologize if I feel a little bit tired, or if I start trailing off, or even if I just start snoozing up here on the stand. I had a senior class graduation party last night that went till about 3 a.m., so I'm running on fumes here, but hopefully it'll be like when MJ played with the flu. As most of you know, I've been called to serve in the Anchorage Alaska mission. Now that is the only mission for the state of Alaska, so I'll be pushing it around the whole state and even parts of northern Canada and the Yukon territories. But I report to the MTC June 7th, and just some background that you should probably know about my call. Now, I talked with my dad when I was applying and getting all the interviews and stuff. I wanted two things for my mission. I wanted one, to not go someplace too hot, and I wanted two, to leave as close to graduation as possible so I can come back and play football. And when I opened my call, I learned a few things from this. Is that one, the Lord listens to what you ask for, and two, be careful what you ask the Lord for, because He just might give it to you. Now, of course, I'm in no way disappointed about my call, and I'm so excited to serve the caribou, the people of Alaska. Sorry, not ready for it. Now, that brings me to my topic that I was given, serving the Lord. Now, I didn't have a lot of time this week to think about my thoughts, or stew over them because of graduation and everything go on, but I do have, some main things I want to talk about. Now, most of this I'm going to explain through personal stories and experiences that I've had, and I'm sorry if my life doesn't sound as interesting as I think it is. But first I want to say that the first thing I know about the gospel and serving the Lord is that it brings us joy. Yea, even true happiness. Now, in October 2013, Elder M. Russell Ballard said this in his talk entitled, "Put Your Trust in the Lord." Now he said, "The Lord knows us. He knows we have our challenges. I realize that some of you may feel heavy laden, but I pray that none of you would ever feel that reaching out in normal, pleasant ways to share the gospel would ever be a burden. Rather, it is a privilege." Now this is really what I want to get across. There is no greater joy in life than being anxiously engaged in the service of the Lord. No greater joy, he said. So many people out there, they're looking for purpose and joy in their lives, but it's laid out right here for us. Now, I don't know why I'm like this, but when I think of serving the Lord, I often think of the times where I didn't find much joy in serving the Lord. Now that sounds worse than it is, but what I'm talking about right here is service projects when I was younger. Some of you may experience this, but in the Deacons Quorum, we would go out on service projects every month, and we try to, and my dad and my leaders would drag me out there, but I just thought, why am I doing chores that I do at home, but I'm not at home, and someone else is getting the benefit from them? It didn't really cross through my 12-year-old mind that much. But the whole time I dragged my feet, I'd be tired, and I wouldn't have the best attitude at all, you could say. But so I decided, if I'm going to have to do this, if I'm going to get dragged out here, I might as well find a way to cope with this and to get through it. So what I looked for was examples around me. And the one thing that stuck out most to me was the example of Darian Walker. Every time we went to service, or every time that we served somebody else, he had the best attitude about it. He had the best feeling. I asked him, why do you like serving so much? It's not as fun as the swimming activities or the gun activities that we get to go to. And he said, I just like the feeling that I get when I do something for someone else that they don't have to, or that they can't do for themselves. I like that warm feeling and that glow that I get inside of me. And you know that, I was 12 years old, and I probably am not even that smart right now, but that started to gnaw on me, and I started to think, he has that great feeling every time he serves, and that is so much better than what I'm feeling right now. So every project that we went on from then on, I would look at Darian, and I'd see how he would serve, and I'd see the attitude that he would have about it. And eventually I started to acquire that feeling for myself. And now whenever I serve people, I just get, it's the glow. That's the really only way I can describe it. This feeling that you did something for somebody else that they couldn't or now don't have to do for themselves. And I think that's what the gospel of Jesus Christ is about mainly, is for serving each other. And we all know that when we're serving each other, we're really serving our Lord. Now, second thing is that you must be sensitive to the promptings of the Spirit when serving the Lord. Now, there's a scripture that gets my point across pretty well. Now, it's Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 84, verse 85. And it says, "Neither take ye thought beforehand what ye shall say, but treasure up in your minds continually the words of life, and it shall be given you in the very hour that portion that should be meted unto every man." In the very hour. And I'd go even further to say, in the very minute and in the very second of what you need to say, it will be given unto you. Now, I don't know what it is, but I really seem to like to learn things the hard way again. So again, I'm going to share an experience of when I wasn't very receptive to the promptings of the Spirit. Now, there was a summer day, right before football season last year, before my junior year, and I was with my friends, Dane Buck and Zach Jukes, and we were over in Boise and running around the mall and, trying to talk to girls, but we had no idea what we were doing anyway, so we just went along our merry way. And we got back into town, we were kind of hot, it was a hot day and we were tired, so we decided to go swimming, so we went up to the canals and had a good old time, and watched everybody do backflips off the high dive and all this stuff. But pretty soon, time kind of ran away from us, and we're like, crap, we gotta get home. My parents are gonna kill us, and of course, nobody knew where we were at. Every good story starts with that. No one knows where you are. So we hop in the car, and I'm driving along the canal road, and we're zooming, and it's getting pretty dusty. So I have everybody roll up the windows, and we crank on the AC, and we're just going. And I missed my turn off to get back onto South Slope, and I said, okay, I'll just get to the next one because these kids gotta be home, or their parents are gonna be mad at me because I'm the driver. So I'm going faster around the road, and I grew up in that. I know what it's like to ride a four-wheeler around those roads and get a little drift going. You get your back end sliding out. Nothing feels better. So of course I'm behind the wheel of that Nissan Maxima, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable, and I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, I'm Dominic Toretto. I can do this. I'm doing pretty good right now. And we're taking these wide curves and turns at about like 35, 40 miles an hour. And, there was feelings that I should slow down, but I was feeling confident. I knew what I was doing because I was an Emmett kid. I knew how to drive a four-wheeler, right? But I wasn't listening to anything that was telling me to stop. But eventually, Dane and Zach, they're looking at me, and they see that crazy look I got in my eye. And they're, hey, you should probably slow down. And they're starting to hold on to, the old crap handle right here. And they're getting ready, because the canal is like really literally right there. And they're just like, hey, you should probably slow down. I'm like, no, we're good. And something about what they were saying, telling me to slow down, just made me want to show them more that I was a better driver. But anyway, I didn't listen to them. So we're going around this one corner, and our back end pops up a little bit. And of course, we start fishtailing, and bald tires, dirt. It's like an ice rink. And so we slide off into the water. And they always talk about that moment, that adrenaline moment when everything seems to go quiet. And that's what it was. We all went quiet for a second because we know we're going in the water right now. And all of a sudden, we start moving. We don't even think we just start moving. I open the door, I get it open a little bit, just enough to squeeze my body through because the current is going against the car. And so I get just enough to squeeze my body through, and as I'm out of the car, I see Dane, somehow he opened the door against the full of the water. The back of the car was all the way underwater, and there's still air in the car. And he opens the door with one hand and starts throwing stuff out. I see Dane out. And then me and Dane are out, and I'm looking around, where's Zach? Oh my gosh, I rolled up all the windows for the dust. But then I see Zach's head pop up, and just infinite gratitude. And we get on the shore, and there's a couple things that go through my mind as I'm on the shore, watching my car sink and drift away into the depths of the darkness. And number one is that my dad is literally going to snap my neck. First and foremost, right? And second was, how come I didn't have any signs that what we were doing this? How come I didn't have a sign that this was dangerous, that this was not okay? And I think the Spirit kind of says, oh, I told you so. You did. You did have a couple signs. And I just felt terrible. But we said a prayer of gratitude on that moment, and I wish now that I had listened to not only what I felt, but when Dane and Zach fell around you. And now luckily on a mission, you're not by yourself. You do have a companion. And if both of you are sensitive to the promptings of the Spirit and have your receptors up, you can do a lot of good work. But when you're not sensitive to the Spirit, it can be worse than a car crash. Now, something I learned in a mission prep a while ago is that in the mission, when you're meeting people, meeting new people all the time, you're passing people, you're meeting people on the street and talking to them, you only got 45 seconds before this, I gotta go to work or whatever. You might be their first, only, or even their last chance to hear the gospel. You're not, luckily, on the mission, you're not alone in any means. You have the Spirit with you, and it is your job to get the Spirit across to them so that they might learn about the gospel and that they might feel that there's something different about the church. It is up to you, though, to be sensitive enough to the Spirit. Now, lastly, I want to share is that serving the Lord will change you. Yea, and even make you become more like Christ. Now, I've had a ton of great examples and leaders, and many of you out here today of church service and what it means to really magnify your calling and to love the people that you serve. But what I want to talk about today is Brother Jeff Walker. He's been with me as a scout leader and a deacon teacher all throughout it. But before I get to Jeff, I want to talk about a boy that used to be in our ward, Michael Gordon. I think was his name. Yeah, it's been a while, but Michael Gordon was that kid that you could always count on the campouts. If there was a cliff, you better be watching him because he's going to find a way to chuck himself off of it. On accident, of course. Or if you're going through mud, he's going to lose his shoe, his white shoes that he brought in the camp out. Or if anything was going to happen to where you could get hurt in any random way, it was going to happen to Michael Gordon. If you can get struck by lightning, it was going to happen, He was just a walking Murphy's Law. But, Michael Gordon was a good kid. Everybody loved him. He was hilarious because, it's always funny to see someone get hurt a little bit. But the story with Michael Gordon that I want to tell you is in Deacon's Quorum. We were at Brother Walker's shop, and we're working on the automotive maintenance merit badge, which is, kind of dangerous. You give these 12-year-olds a bunch of wrenches and saws and air tools, and, you try to teach them, but they're not really listening to you because they're fooling around. But we're in there, we're trying to get this car that we're working on onto a ramp so that we can get underneath it and change the oil or whatever. And to this day, I don't know why, but Brother Walker chose Michael Gordon to get in the car and drive it up on the ramps. So we see Michael Gordon in the car, and we're like, okay, something's going to happen. I don't know what, but something is going to happen here. So we're all kind of tensed and backing away because Michael Gordon's behind the wheel. It's probably a lot worse than Mitchel Maxfield behind the wheel. But like every kid, when he starts to first drive a car, he gives it a little gas, it lurches forward a little bit, not enough. And then you really give it the gas. And Michael Gordon really gave it the gas. And he goes flying over these ramps, and it just clears him, and then just goes barreling into some other tractor equipment that Jeff Walker had in the shop. And of course we're dying. We're on the floor, we're rolling. And Michael Gordon, he's like, oh, I can't believe it. Really? You can't believe it? But no, he's pretty sad, and of course when we're done laughing, we all expect just Jeff to go tearing open that door and grab Michael Gordon by his neck and throw him out, because he had dented up the bumper pretty bad. But he didn't. Brother Walker, he probably knew that something like this might happen, or at least I like to think he did. But he got Michael Gordon out of the car and said, it's okay, you're fine. It's nothing bad happened, and he had patience with him and loved him. Now, on a mission, that's one of the things that's the one thing that I hope I can do is if I can love the people that I'm serving. Because if you love the people, you'll know how to reach out to them, and you'll be able to be patient with them and all their shortcomings, and be able to work with them as best that you can. Now, if we could just all lose ourselves in the work, such as Brother Walker, we could find ourselves a lot closer to Heavenly Father and how to return to Him. Now, all of you guys have done a wonderful job in the Lord with our youth, and I've experienced firsthand what it's like to have leaders that love you. And I just hope that as I go on a mission, as I get other church callings, that I can magnify them such as you have. And I guess I'll just finish with some of my testimony. Now, my testimony might not be as extravagant and knowledgeable as some of you, but there are some concrete things that I know to be true. Now, the power of the atonement. I know that there is no other way that we can go to return to our Heavenly Father than through constant remissions of our sins through the power of the atonement. To be relieved of all that burden and weight that you carry, once it happens, you just go, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I just look at the brass serpent? It's that easy. Now, sometimes it can be challenging, but at the end you realize that it's worth any sacrifice that it takes. Second, I know that Joseph Smith is a prophet. Now, when you're out there and you're sharing the message of the Book of Mormon, you're trying, hey, have you read this, the Restored Gospel? You say it's translated by Joseph Smith, a prophet. So what better way does the devil have to fight the church than to destroy the name of Joseph Smith? I guarantee that if you go on the internet or if you're even just browsing, what you search for, you will find. That's true in very many ways with the internet. So if people are searching for doubt about Joseph Smith, they will find it because the devil has made sure to put it out there. But if you really read about his life, and if you read about what he translated, if you read the Book of Mormon, you will come to know that it could not have come from man. Now, Joseph Smith was an imperfect man like all of us, but he was a man called of God, and he was able to bring this book and restore it, and restore the gospel. And I know that as I read about the miracles that he did throughout his life, and just the kind of person that he was, that he was a prophet, and I'll hold his name to the very last day. Now, this whole process of me becoming a missionary is happening kind of fast, because some things you have to wait till after graduation. But one of the things that has struck out to me the most is going through the temple. I'll be doing that this week on Tuesday. And, they've kind of rushed me through a temple prep class, and it's awesome. The more I read about the symbolism and the blessings and the ordinance and covenants that go on in the temple, the more excited that I get. And it's kind of some things that, we don't regularly talk about in the church or really bring up or mention all that much. But I guess, raised in the gospel, I always knew those things were there. But just when you talk about them and when the Spirit can testify to you about the importance of it, it really gets me excited to make covenants with my Heavenly Father. And I know that these are binding, and I know that through the temple, we can be sealed to our eternal families. We can make it back with everyone. And I know that these covenants will be a blessing to our lives, in this life and in the life to come. Now, my testimony is simple, but it is firm. And as I go to Alaska, and I'm excited to serve those people, I hope that I will be able to love them. I hope that I will be sensitive to the prompting of the Spirit. And I hope that it changes me. One of the reasons I want to go on a mission is because of all the benefits that you get during the mission, the person that you become as a missionary. And I know that it'll bless me throughout my life, and it'll affect me professionally and in athletics, and help me find a better wife, and it'll just help me be a better husband and father. And I hope that I can be just as good as a missionary as all you member missionaries are out there. And I may be leaving the Letha Ward, but the Letha Ward will never leave me. And I say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
I've always wondered what the world looked like from up here.
Now you know.
Perspective, Mitchell. You have a different perspective on the world, and the Lord will teach you an even greater perspective as you heard the testimonies of your preschool members that have gone before you, and as you've been an example to the primary children and to the young men, and to us. The things that your testimony is founded upon, those are the rock solid things. The Savior Jesus Christ, His atoning sacrifice for us, and the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, those things will carry you forward. Know that we love you, and that, as you said, that we won't ever leave you. The Lord has never left us. And thank you for your example and your testimony, and for this opportunity to have a different perspective. Love you.